Hello everyone and welcome to Merlin's Manor. Today I'm doing a solo playthrough and how to play of Trekking Through History, a game where you are traveling through time, visiting various events throughout history, maybe some ancestors along the way, and you're going to score points by filling up your itinerary and getting as longest treks that you possibly can. Now the solo game only comes with the Kickstarter version, but I believe there's going to be a print and play coming out soon, and so keep your eyes out for that. Now there's one thing that I'm not going to be playing with during this game, but I want to go over briefly, and that is the time warps. And it says right here, warning, you are about to enter a time warp. Do not open until you've played the basic game at least once. And so you're not going to be playing with these your first game or two, so you can kind of get the hang of how to play it, and then you can kind of add these in. They give some benefits that you can do. I'm not going to spoil what those are, but I highly recommend going ahead and adding them. You can add them to your solo games as well as your multiplayer games. Let's go ahead and get to the table and see how this game plays. Okay, the setup is very simple. You're going to put 3 ancestor cards per player. Since we're playing a solo game, we're going to have 3 ancestor cards out here. You're going to set up a card on each one of these slots. You're going to set up your timepieces with yours on top for a solo game. For a multiplayer game, you would shuffle them all together and have them at random put on there. And whoever's on top is going to be the first person to go, which in a solo game is going to be you, and then the historian goes second. You're also going to set up these crystal areas here for both the historian and yourself. You're going to select, you're going to randomly choose 4 boards, and then you're going to look at them and decide which one you want to play. Or for your first game, you may decide just to do it kind of completely at random. Select one to play there. You're going to set up the historian's board over here. You're going to have shuffled all the decks and have those set off to the side, ready to be brought in for the second and third rounds. And that's the setup. It's very simple. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to select one of these cards here. And you can select from any of the areas. This first one here doesn't give you an extra benefit, but each of the other ones give you an added benefit on top of what's on the card. Now on the card, you're going to have the year. You're going to want to start kind of at an earlier date so that you can build up a trek, because once you can no longer go later in the timeline, you're going to have to then start a new trek. If you look over here, you're going to see that you're going to get points, more points the further you're able to go in your trek. And so you want to try and balance being able to go far in your trek as well as being able to get the symbols you need to fill up this board over here. And so the next thing you want to take a mind of is the time here. That's how much it's going to cost you to move forward. So this one that I'm going to take in just a second is going to cause it to go forward 1, 2, 3. I could spend a time crystal if I wanted to make it go forward less. You can spend as many time crystals as you want to bring it all the way down to no less than 1. It always has to cost you at least 1 in order to be able to do that. And then you're going to collect these symbols here, the ones on the card and one below. And so in this case, I'm going to collect this card. I'm going to move it forward 1, 2, 3. I'm going to allow it to go the full 3. And then I'm going to get the person symbol here, this green symbol here, and a time crystal. And I put these on here. Had I covered up one of these symbols here, I would have immediately gotten those points and advanced on the point track here. If I had managed to fill up all 3 of these that are in this row that are connected with this line, I would have gotten the 7 points here immediately. But I haven't done that yet, so we move on to the historian's turn. Since the historian is further in the back, the historian goes next. Now, if the historian winds up only going 1 or 2 spaces, then it would go again. And so whoever's furthest behind gets to go and can continue going there like that. So we're going to move these down and reveal the next card. Now the historian always takes the earliest card. In this case, it's 900 AD, so there's not a lot of early cards out this round. And so it takes that one. It's going to move forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Since I'm playing on medium difficulty here, you have the chronologist. When taking a history card with a cost of 4 or more hours, the historian attempts to spend time crystals to reduce that cost to 3. It still takes the card if it doesn't have the crystals to spend. So it's going to move back 1 by spending a crystal. And then the historian gets one of these scrolls, one of the green icons here, and 2 time crystals. 1 for the card and 1 for where that was located at. And then it goes on this board just like this. You're going to go to the first circle there, and it gets a time crystal because it covered up a time crystal. And it's going to go here, and nothing so far. Now keep in mind over here, you're going to lose a time crystal once the historian fills that line up. So I probably want to go ahead and spend any time crystals I have so that that doesn't happen. So these are going to move down, revealing this one. And we got a 500 BCE over here, so that's probably one that I'm going to want to take since I want to stay BCE as long as I can. So even though I don't get an extra benefit, I'll go ahead and take that hit. So I grab the 500 BCE card. I'm going to go forward 1, 2, and spend both of my time crystals. I'm going to grab one of these light bulbs and a wild. Wilds can go wherever you want them to go. And so I'm going to put the light bulb there, and for the wild, I'm going to try and build up my scrolls here. So I'm going to go with the scroll right there. And now I'm ahead, so it's going to be the historian's turn. The historian's going to look for the one closest to its time, that is after that time period that already is. So it's going to be 1150. It's going to grab, it's going to go forward 3. 1, 2, 3. It's going to grab a person and a scroll. Person for here, scroll for the card. And it's covering up a 3, so it's going to go forward 1, 2, 3 like that. And that goes there. And then this comes down. Now everything I'm going to go after is going to be late. Super, super late. 1300 is the closest one, and it's going to give me a scroll and a light bulb. It's the last light bulb that I'm going to get any benefit for if I go that route. If I come further up, I could get other things. I still think I want to keep it as close time-wise as possible. There aren't any other light bulbs out there. The only kind of light bulb I'll have to worry about is when I take from here. So I think I am going to go ahead. Of course, I could also take an ancestor card. It gives me 1 wild symbol, and I advance 3. It's kind of a weaker card as far as the symbols you're going to get, but it allows you to keep your trek going longer. I just don't know if much more is going to come out. Everything's pretty late at this point, so I may just go ahead and take that sacrifice right now. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and grab the 1300 card. I go forward 1, 2, 3. And then I get a scroll and a light bulb. I just want to clarify a little bit how the ancestor cards work. So when you grab this card, you're actually going to be visiting an ancestor in that same timeline that you're in. So let's say you had stopped off to hear the Gettysburg Address, and then you wanted to kind of stay in that time period of 1863. You just go visit one of your ancestors for 3 times, get a wild, and it's not going to add anything to your timeline, so you can keep on in that same time frame, and so you'll be able to add more to your trek that way. Just wanted to clarify exactly thematically how that works. Yeah, so that would have been too early. So I would have wasted grabbing the ancestor probably if I'd done that. So let's go ahead and move on. Historian is behind, so the historian will take its turn. And the next one in chronology would be 1519, it appears. We are both advancing really fast in the timeline. This is not how it would normally go for the first round. So it gets the scroll for here, and then all the symbols on there are person. It gets 3 points. 1, 2, 3. Scroll goes there. That goes there. And the wild is going to go in the topmost empty space. Had there been more than one, it would go to the furthest to the right in the topmost space. So it's going to go right here. Now, it's going to take 1 crystal from me, but I do not have any crystals. Planned that perfectly. And so it doesn't take anything. And it wouldn't actually take it, you would just put it back to the supply. So moving on to my turn. Alright. So I should have already advanced the clock here. It's going to go 1, 2, 3. It's going to spend 1 crystal to get it down to 3. And now it's my turn. And 1587 is the next closest time-wise. But I'd be spending 5 time. I wouldn't be able to use the benefit down here. I am partially wondering if it's going to be worth that one, or if I want to do something else. I actually think I'm going to come here and get the 1629. And I'm going to move forward 1, 2, 3. I get a green and a wild. Put the green there and advance 1, 2, 3. Putting the wild there. I've covered up all these along this line, so I'm going to go 7 forward, all the way to 10. And then it's going to be the historian's turn. Historian's going to look, discover that 1587 is the next one in line for it. It's going to move forward 3, 1, 2. It's going to go past this area, but it's still going to spend its crystals because it tries to get it down to 3. It's not going to be punctual because it went 1 past. If you land exactly on there, you get a 3 bonus. I do believe the historian also gets the 3 bonus there. It isn't explicitly said in the rule book, but that seems to make sense. And so it's going to get the green, the scroll, the wild, and a crystal. And so you put the wilds on last, so it gets crystal for there. Green goes there, and the wild is going to go right there. And so we move these down, and it's going to be my turn. It's going to be probably my last card, unless I take this one here. Even then it's going to be my last card, because I have to move forward 1. So, do I try to be punctual, or try to get a lot of symbols? I guess it depends on what the symbols can give me. That one's not going to do me any good. This one here would get me a couple time crystals, and I'd move forward 1. That one's not going to be a lot of good. That one would start a really bad new line, so I don't want to go there. I don't have good options right now. Probably my best option is to take the 1794 card. It'll give me 4 points, and I'll be punctual. That's what I'm going to do. So, taking this card, moving forward 1. I can't make use of the light bulb here, but I can make use of this green to cover up the 4 right here. And so I'll move forward 1, 2, 3, 4. I was punctual, so I move forward another 1, 2, 3. Because I landed directly on that. I did not go past. And that's going to be the end of the round. Now, had the historian gone last, it would have wound up on top of my timepiece, and it would go first in the next round. But I was last to go, and so I will go first in the next round. These go away. You keep your trek going. You keep the historian's trek going. You're going to clear your board of all these different pieces. And you're going to get a new board. You select from the 3 that are left. And you can wait until you have put out the new cards here. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do, because that may influence me as to what I want. And so sometimes I like to look at the symbols that are coming up and what I need most of on the different boards. Still not getting a lot of people, which is kind of unusual. And so 2 of these boards require that you really fill up all the people spaces. So I think I'm going to go with this one next and hope that more people come out in the later rounds. And so let's go ahead and move on into round 2. The story keeps all those. It just keeps building on them. So, if I want something later, there's only one option. That's this 1914 option. Or, again, I could always take an ancestor. But I am probably going to work towards filling this out and moving on into a new trek not too long from now. Try and start earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and get the 1914. Kind of do a little bit more work on this one before we move on. So I get 2 scrolls and a wild. I'm going to move forward 1, 2, 3, 4. Scroll there. Scroll there. I get 2 points. And it's a bit early to try and figure out where I want my wild, though, isn't it? Let's just keep advancing on the scrolls, I would say. Since we need a lot of scrolls anyway. That comes forward. Now it's the historian's turn. Something after 1587. It's going to go with 1601. 1601, it's going to advance. It has 5 on there. It's going to spend 2 time crystals to go 3. And then it's going to get green for the space, person, wild, and a time crystal. So, green is going to get another time crystal, because it covered up one. Person's going to go there, and the wild symbol is going to go here. That's going to fill up this row. And so it's going to get an ancestor card because of that symbol right there. And you do not add the 3 for it getting the ancestor card. It's just kind of a random bonus that it gets. And it gets the wild, though, from it. And so it's going to go there. Oh, we are cascading now because this gives it a wild because it's filled in that row right there. And then the next one it's going to go to is here. Wow, it's really liking those light bulbs for the wilds. So it goes for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for covering up a 5. And now it's its turn again because it did not advance forward past me. So now we go ahead, and the next one in line looks like 1918. Yes, 1918. It's going to get 2 people, 1 for the card, 1 for the location. It's going to get 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's going to move forward 2. It's a little out of order. You're supposed to move it forward first, but as long as you're not taking the benefits that are going to change anything there, it's not the biggest deal in the world. Okay, there is not a card out there I can take. If I really wanted to, I could go for an ancestor, but we're at 1914 here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one's going to score me 10. Took an ancestor, it would be worth 5 points. That's something to think about. That's one of the bigger gaps. The biggest gaps over here are the 6 to 7 gives you 5 points, and then the 9 to 10 gives you 7 points. It's the biggest, 9 points. It's the biggest gap that you can take. So if you are really close to that 10, you really especially want to do an ancestor card. I think I might take one just though for the fact that I can get the 5 points. And the next one will probably start me over. Oh, but then again, I'm looking at what's out there, and the ancestor is going to have to take one as well. And it will take the 3500 BCE card. Tell you what, I'm actually going to end my thing. I'm not going to worry about that. These cards, again, are a little bit weaker to take because you're taking 3 time for 1 symbol. And so if you're looking for the symbols, they're a little weaker, but they do help you increase your trek. For better or for worse, well, that one's going to be 4 times. No, I am going to take the ancestor card because I think I can take the next 2 BCE cards that are out, and that will work. So actually, I am going to take an ancestor card. I'm going to spend 3 time and get a wild. The question becomes, where do I want that wild? The ones I'm going to be going after here, keep in mind what symbols they have. Between here and here. I think I'm going to put it on the person level. So the historian now is going to collapse its trek. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It made it to 7. It's going to collapse that trek and just put it off to the side. And it's going to start a new one with the 3500 BCE card. It's going to move forward 4. 1, 2, 3. Actually, it's going to move forward 3 because it's going to spend a time crystal. And then it's going to get a time crystal back. It's going to get a light bulb and a green. And these move on down. I just realized I'm actually not going to be able to take 2 because it didn't go forward far enough. So I am going to start out, though, as best I can, getting this 377 BCE card. This is going to collapse. Put that off to the side. And I'm going to get the benefits here. A crystal for the location, a person, and a light bulb. 1 green and I'll get 8 points, so that'll be good. And I moved forward. I want to move forward 2 and use a crystal. Okay. Now for the Historian's turn. I would have loved to get that 332 BCE card, but the Historian's going to grab it up real quick. He's going to move forward 2. Going to get a scroll and the green. Going to move forward 5 for the green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for the scroll, it's going to get an Ancestor card because it completed that. And that's going to be the last Ancestor card. And so it doesn't take any more on this difficulty level anyway. That's just going to stop me from getting any Ancestor cards at this point. Sometimes a strategy would be to go ahead and try and snatch up all those Ancestor cards before it gets to its second one so that it doesn't get that extra bonus. I didn't focus on that this time around, but that can be a strategy. So it's going to get a wild, and it's going to go in this spot right here. Now these move down, I'm going to be next, and there are not any good times yet again. Now the question is, do I take this one for 1 scroll? Or this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, gives me a person and a wild and a scroll. And I'd probably end my round. Yeah, I would end my round because I don't have any crystals to spend. But I'm probably going to maximize things if I do that. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the 1280. It's going to give me, I'm going to move forward 1, 2, oh wait, I miscounted. 1, 2, 3. I'm only 3 away. I think I actually will take the 980 then. I'm going to move forward 2 and grab a scroll. Hopefully this pays off. I'm going to move forward 1, 2, 3. Now it all depends on what the Historian does. It's going to take the lowest common era card, which is going to be 1280. It's the one I was eyeing a little bit ago, but we'll see what comes up. It's going to go forward all the way to the end. It's going to spend a time crystal, but that's not enough to keep it punctual. And then it's going to get a person, a wild. From the location, it gets a scroll. Person is going to get another wild. Scroll, it's going to get 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the 2 wilds are going to go here and then here. Starting from the right on the topmost and going towards the left. Now let's see what we got here. So if I wanted just a scroll, here is the closest to my time period, but I need really something with green in it in order to get that. Because 8 points. I don't want to leave 8 points on the board. And the scroll doesn't do me any good here. So I could go for this one. It would get me a time crystal and another time crystal and 8 points. Or I could go for this one. It would get me 8 points, 2 time crystals, and a wild, which would get me another time crystal. I could really load up on time crystals. I don't see anything else that's going to get me more points at a glance. I need something with green in it. And that's the only thing in green other than this one. That doesn't get me as much. So I'm going to go with the 1429. I'm going to get a green, a wild, 2 time crystals. Green goes here. I get 8 points, up to 30. The wild is going to go on either one of these spaces and get me another time crystal. Of course, I would have advanced to the very end there. I'm not punctual, but I got a lot. And sometimes you want to just get more symbols. Sometimes you're forced into not being punctual anyway. So that deck goes away. New deck comes out. Again, I pre-shuffled all of these so that you can just put them straight on out there. And I put them this side down so you don't know what's coming up. So it can be a little bit of a mystery there. Now I'm on top, so I get to go first in this round. I'm going to clear this off and get my new board. I can choose either of these boards. Both of them are heavy on the people. This one wants you to get all the way to the end, plus get 3 scrolls to get 15 points. Not a lot along the way. There are an okay amount of people coming up. I still think one of these this board's going to be a little bit easier to accomplish good points. So I'm going to go with this board. That way I don't have to get 5 people, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people just to score really any worthy points. So moving into this last round, I want something close to 1429 if I can manage it, and it was going to be good for me. This 1581 just gives me a scroll. I don't need a lot of scrolls, so I don't think I'm going to go that route. The next one up is 1666. It will get me a light bulb and 2 greens. It's okay. I also want to spend my crystals if I do that one, especially since the historian's creeping up on a couple spots to take crystals away. I might spend all my crystals if I did that. If I really want to go even further forward, we've got 1815. I think I'm going to hold off because that one's going to come back around for me. So I'm going to spend 3 crystals to move only 1 for this 4. I'm going to grab a light bulb, a green, and another green. Green gets me 2 points there. And the light bulb goes there. Now I need to really collect people after this. People symbols. So now, I believe, nope, 1209 is just slightly too early. So it's going to go with 1581. It's going to move forward 2. It's going to get a scroll and a time crystal. So now I'm thinking the 1815 is going to be good for me because it gives me the person. It's going to give me an extra green symbol, though, that I'm not going to be able to use. It gives me a scroll, which is helpful. This one over here. Oh, wait. Well, 1752. It gives me a scroll and a person. Actually, that's the one I'm going to go with. Fly a Kite with Benjamin Franklin. I'm going to move forward 2. Unfortunately, I don't have a time crystal spender. I could take another turn. I'm going to get a scroll and a person. And then it will take its turn, the historian. The next one is going to be one of the 1800s. It's going to be the earliest 1800, of course, so it's going to be 1815, the one I was somewhat eyeing, but it wasn't really in the best location. because it would have given me 2 greens. I couldn't have handled both of them. It's going to get 2 greens, although I might want to have stopped it from getting 2 greens because it's going to get way up there on that side over there. A scroll and a person. So I would lose time crystals, but I don't have any. It gets 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It comes here. If it completed that row, so it's going to get 10. It's going to go from 31 to 41. And then the scroll, I would lose a time crystal again, but again, I don't have any. And of course, it would have gone at 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, only 3 because it has time crystals to spend. By the way, time crystals at the end of the game are worth a point each for both you and the historian. So keep that in mind as far as yours go. So 1889 is looking to be my best option in the moment. That's what I'm going to grab. Trek the World with Nellie Bly. We're going to go forward 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to get person, scroll, and a time crystal. And another time crystal for covering that up. Okay, now it's the historian's turn. The historian is going to take the 1823 card that just came out onto the main part of the board. It's going to move forward 1, 2, 3, 4 because it only has 1 time crystal to spend. It's going to get a light bulb, a wild, and a time crystal, plus the person for there. Person, light bulb, and the wild will go right here. Didn't get any points for that, but it's coming up onto a lot of points, areas that are going to get lots of points here. So, I want, ideally, to be able to land before I can take another turn. We're starting to get to the same time periods as one another. This one's going to give me nothing that I need. This one will give me a couple things that are useful. But it's the latest one out there. I'd have to start a new trek probably. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It wouldn't be a bad time to start a new trek. I'd have 7 again. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and grab this one for 2. But I'm going to actually spend a time crystal, so there's only going to be 1. Person, light bulb, and another person for the location. Light bulb gets me 2 points. And that one gets me 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That comes down. Okay, there's nothing out there that I can take, so I'm going to collapse this trek, put it off to the side. And I am going to potentially take, if I take this one and spend 1, I do need a person. It gets me another time crystal. Sounds like a good idea. So I'm going to spend a crystal to move 1. I get a crystal back, and I get a person there. I've almost filled out that row. I could have taken the other one. Okay. These move down. And now, no, I probably should have thought about the 998. Nah, but it would have, I probably could have pulled that one off. Oh well. That actually would have been better for me if I'd done that in that order. Oh well, let's see what else we got going for us here. Person, wild doesn't fully help me. That doesn't fully help me. See, I need a person, a light bulb, and one of the green ones. And don't want to grab this one because then I'd lose 3 points for this trek. That would not be good. I'd lose another 3 points for the next trek too, if I ended the game right there for myself. Really trying to maximize here. That's what I want to do. Okay. So I'm going to take the 1909 card here. I'm going to spend a time crystal to move 2. I get a person to go here. I get 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I get a light bulb to go here. All I need is a green and I'll max out this board. So the historian's turn now. It's going to look for... I'm going to grab the 1849, it looks like. It's going to spend a time crystal. Move 1, 2, 3, 4. It ran out of time crystals. So it doesn't get the punctuality bonus yet again. It's going to get a scroll, a wild, a time crystal, and another time crystal. Scroll goes there. A wild will go here and it'll get 3 points. 1, 2, 3. Now for my last turn, I need a green. That's all that I need. The only way I can get that is going here. It doesn't really matter. It is in the future, so that's helpful. The only thing I can take from that is the green from the bonus location, but that's all I need. So I go from 46 to 56. And that's the end of the game. We go ahead and we calculate up our treks. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to go up 15 there. So we go up 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then I got another one. I think this was 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the number of the day right there. So I go up another 15. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then this last trek, I got 3, which is going to be worth 2. 1, 2, 3. It's worth 2. 1, 2. And now we look at these treks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is worth 18 points. So it's going to go up 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. This one here I think was 7 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, so it's going to go up 15. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then time crystals. I had none left. Historian had 2 left, so it's going to go up to 79. And so the final score is 88 for me and 79 for the historian. I'm going to go ahead and look through these treks if you are interested in this. So we got discuss the code of law with Hammurabi. And then we've got drink hot chocolate with the Mayans. We got carve giant heads on Easter Island. Perform kabuki theater. Send a message with the semaphore. Got practice suffragitsu. And of course my ancestor card. And then we got 377 BCE. We are studying medicine with Hippocrates. We discover Iceland with the Vikings in 980. We march with Joan of Arc in 1429. We scroll through Newton's apple orchard in 1666. In 1752, we fly a kite with Benjamin Franklin. We trek the world with Nellie Bly in 1889. And in 1959, we explore the ocean with Jacques Cousteau. And for our last day, or last trek, should I say, 1209, we ride with Genghis Khan. In 1909, we are psychoanalyzed by Sigmund Freud. And 1923, we excavate King Tut's tomb. And the historian over here, I can't remember which one of these was first, but this one was first. In 900, track Venus at Chichen Itza. Don't know if I pronounced that right. In 1150, the historian carved intricate reliefs at Angkor Wat. In 1519, sailed the globe with Magellan. In 1587, attended the Grand Kitano Tea Gathering. In 1601, wrote a play with William Shakespeare. Visited an ancestor. And in 1918, read Braille with Helen Keller. And for the last trek, in 3500 BCE, rolled the first wheel. In 332 BCE, dock at the port of Carthage. Visited an ancestor. 1280, wrestled with Cthulhu. I'm butchering that, I'm sure. In 1581, jousted at the Ascension Day Tilt. (1815) See if you are taller than Napoleon. A little humor on that one. 1823, hunt fossils with Mary Anning. And 1849, strike it rich in the gold rush. And each of these cards has on the back of it something that you can read. I'll go ahead and I'm not going to worry about reading those for you right now, but when you get your copy, you can go ahead and you might even want to pause each time you get a card and just read what the back says. You might want to go ahead at the end of the game, read the backs, however you want to do that. There's a lot of good information on there, or maybe there's just one that you just want some more information on. I know that's generally the way I've done it, is if there's a card that sounds interesting, I'll turn it over and read it. So anyway, that is how you play Trekking Through History, the solo mode. The multiplayer mode isn't much different, except for the fact that you're going to shuffle the timepieces at the beginning, and you're playing with other people and not worrying about this historian over here. There really isn't a lot of difference there. There's only a few things that get added for the solo mode, as we've talked about. And so there's a lot of crossover there between the two versions. The solo mode does feel similar to the multiplayer mode in that you are trying to fight against which cards are going to come out or get taken up. Although you do have the advantage of knowing exactly what the historian will take up, and so you can actually plan accordingly, because you always know they're going to take the earliest or the next one in their timeline. And so you can kind of look and see, oh, they're going to take that one. Maybe I need to make sure I get that one, or not really care about that one. And so you can kind of look a little bit like that. You can even plan for your next turn a little bit sometimes, because you'll have an idea of what they're going to take and what's going to progress forward. But at any rate, that is how you play that. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.